Hi there. Okay, so I'm back for Flosstube number 2. I can't believe the response I got from my first video. So first of all, I just want to take this opportunity to thank everybody who has watched, subscribed, commented, all the lovely comments that were made. Really do appreciate it. I've tried to respond to everybody who has commented because I really do appreciate it. So because of that, I have decided, you know what, I'm going to come back and I'm going to do another video. So here we go. For the past 2 weeks I've had an unprecedented amount of time to actually do stitching, so I doubt I'll ever be able to spend this amount of time on my stitching again. But yeah, work isn't fully restarted yet. I'm hoping in the next week or so that does happen, so I might get a little bit of stitching in the meantime, but I doubt I'll ever have this amount of time again to do it. So I've touched on quite a few of my whips, so I'll go through them with you. As for life, in the last 2 weeks I've not really been at work, so I've just been taking it easy at home. I am what you would call a little bit of a clumsy person, so on one rather memorable day I somehow managed to trip over my own feet, so I can't blame the cats this time. I would love to be able to do that, but this time I cannot blame them, and literally went flying across my living room, head-butted the wall and managed to wrench my shoulder on a cabinet that I've got here in my lounge. I was rather loud, to the point where my next door neighbour shouted through to make sure I was okay, because I had made a almighty bang, but I was fine, other than a bad headache the next day and a very sore arm and knees that made me look like I was a 10-year-old again. Massive bruising and that, absolutely fine. Managed to get away without breaking any of my ornaments, which I was quite happy about, and without breaking my glasses, because that would have been the real tragedy here, considering my glasses are probably the most expensive thing I own. So I'm glad I got away without any damage there. Other than that, it's been quite quiet really. Lockdown here in the UK, well, the relaxing of the lockdown started this week. So on the 14th, shops were allowed to, non-essential shops were allowed to reopen for things other than click and collect, but I've tried to shy away from going to them because it'll just be pandemonium in the shops. And also I'm planning on seeing my parents tomorrow, and although they have now thankfully had both of their shots, I've only had one, and I just, you know, I'm still a little bit shy about exposing myself to too many people, especially if I'm just about to go and see my parents, because they're both in their 80s, so I just want to, you know, be careful about it. I mean, the reason I'm going up there is they've got a massive list of jobs that they're wanting me to do, starting with cleaning their drive. So that, I'm hoping it's going to be nice weather for that, because that's going to be me with the pressure spray cleaning down their driveway, and lots of gardening things. There's also going to be some painting at some point, and in the next few weeks I'm also going to be sorting out their garage. So, and they've got a massive garage filled with my dad's books and various other things, so, you know, lots of fun jobs, but, you know, they've been a great help to me over the past few months, so it seems only fair that I become their workhorse for the next few months. So not really any complaints there, it's just going to be fun. So yeah, not much else has happened. I'm desperate to get back to work for a bit more human interaction. I think I mentioned last time I live here on my own, other than the 5 cats, so it's been a weird one this last year. I mean, you you know, all those times when you're in work and you're like, oh, I wish I could be at home, and oh, you know, I wish I could have a bit more than a long weekend off or a week off and things like that. But when it actually happens, it can actually get a little bit lonely at times. You know, I've got I've got friends I can call up and, you know, do WhatsApp and things like that, or Zoom, but you really do miss it. So I will be glad to get back into the swing of things at work, and even if I'm not in the office full time, it'll be nice to just get in there to see people again and, you know, have proper human interaction with somebody else. I mean, cats are great, but you know, they're not the best for holding a conversation with. But anyway, let's get on with what we're all here for, which is to have a look at the sewing. So I have a finish which I'm over the moon about. I think I mentioned as well in my last in my last video, obviously I've done loads of them, but in my first video, that I was working on Cry of the Banshee by the Little Stitcher, and I was hoping that next time I picked it up that it would be a finish, and it was, because this is a very quick stitch, a really nice stitch. So there we go. Let me get the position right. So it's not an FFO, a fully finished object. For the time being, it's just an FO, a finished object. So as I said, this has come in, well, I bought it as a series of 3. So this one, the Headless Woman, and Elizabeth Bathroy, or something along those lines. I plan on doing the 3 of them together as a triptych, and then what I'll probably do is put them on foam cord, link them up and have them on a top, or I may just put them on my wall in a series like this, but I really do like that. This is on 28 count platinum. I pretty much stuck to the DMC threads, other than with the dress and the 2 ravens I switched out for a toile DMC. It's not really showing up here, but it does actually have a really nice effect, the toile on the birds and the dress, so I'm very happy about that. I think that came out really well. So that's my finish. It's always nice when you have a finish. So I mean, the other 2 I've put in my rotation because I'm treating them all as one whip. So when it next comes up on my tiny decision wheel, I'll probably start the Headless Woman one on that. So the next one I worked on was Curse of the Raven. This is Carriage House samplings. So I'm going to try not to, when I was watching the video back, which was a joy, I've learned I cannot stand watching myself, so but when I was watching it back, I noticed that these do actually make an awful lot of noise, so I'm going to try and cut down on that this time. I've taken most of my projects, especially the larger ones, I've taken them out of the containers I've got them in, to at least try and cut down on some of that noise, but there's 1 or 2 left in. But Curse of the Raven. So what I've done on here is basically filled in the tombstone and the wording, so you can see now the ashes to ashes, dust to dust. Again, this is another one that's quite an easy stitch, and I think next time this does come up on the rotation, this one will probably be finished as well. What I'll do is I'll insert a picture of what it was like, sorry, what it looked like the last time I showed it, so in my first whip parade, or my first Flosstube video, and what it is now, so you can see what I've done on it. That's that one. So again, that's Curse of the Raven. Right, the next one is this hadn't arrived in my 2 weeks ago. It was my planned start that I'd allowed myself, because I'm not really starting any new ones, but I'd said there were 2 exceptions to that. One was this one. I'll bring up a picture of it now. Let me just find it for you. I had thought I'd got this already queued up, but obviously not. Here we go. So that's, there you go, Amethyst. I'm doing the main picture there. So this is the one that I said that it basically contains all my favourite colours, all those lovely purples and lavender. And I had bought some 14 count lavender Ada from the wool warehouse here in the UK, in which to do that on. And it actually arrived pretty much a day or so after the video, so I got a start on this. In the top, I'm pretty much either a top left hand corner starter, or I'll start in the centre and work my way to the left. So on this one I've started top left hand, and I have done, let me get the positioning right there, I've done that. Now the colours aren't popping as great on here, but they do actually look lovely. And this again is another really easy mindless stitch, because you're basically doing either diamond shapes, you're either doing diamond shapes or triangles. So it's just, you know, get something really good on the telly or a podcast or some other Flosstube or something on YouTube and stitch away, and that actually stitched up pretty easily. I mean, there's a lot more to go on it, but I really enjoy doing that, so I'm glad I got that one. And what I'll probably do is, once I finish this, is maybe look at one of the other ones in the series as well and do that. But certainly I'll wait until I finish this before I do purchase another one. But that's sorry, I should have said that's Amethyst from the Shooting Star collection. That's Carolyn Manning. I will have a list of all of these at the end of the video if anyone's interested in any of them. Okay, so excuse me, moving on. I have, in fact I might show you this on my iPad again so you get a clearer picture. This is my Heaven and Earth design. So this is called Flutter. Let me just bring that up. There we go. So that's Heaven and Earth design and Flutter. Now, I had said in my first video that I had a series of pictures from this same artist, that is Marjorie Sarnett, and what I'm going to do is I took a picture of them all this morning, and I'll insert that now. So I absolutely love those, and by some weird coincidence, Diamond Art Club, you know, from Diamond Painting, they've actually just licensed one of hers. It's actually one I've got, called Luna, and I'm so tempted to get it, but I've managed to restrain myself because I've already got a couple of diamond paintings that I'll probably show in another video, that I still need to do. So again, I've said to myself I'm not going to buy any other diamond paintings now until I've got through them, but when I do, I'm incredibly tempted to buy that Luna one. But I've actually did quite a bit on this. Quite happy with the progression I made on it. Again, what I'll do at the end in a minute is I'll insert of what it was 2 weeks ago and what it is now, so you can see for comparison. But this is what I have done. Those triangles in the forehead there, I've completed them, and I have filled in more of the black around, oh, get my fingers right, around here. So there we go. bring that up closer for you. So I'm using Pattern Keeper on this, and as probably anybody who uses Pattern Keeper will say, it's an actual godsend for doing these. I'm using the cross-country method. I get a strand of colour and I'll just follow it all over the place as to wherever it leads me. And yeah, I'm happy with using that method. I did use parking originally, but I just prefer to see things progress like that, just to, I like seeing the shape of the head coming into play and completing that ear and that forehead, and hopefully I'll start work on the eye next time, just so I can start seeing a bit more progression on that. Okay, next one is, oh, it's my long dog. It's Pilgrim. Oh, that one, sorry, Flutter is on 25 counts, Figart easy count. So that's the one that's already pre-gridded in grids of 100 and 10 by 10. I see people doing those, the experienced Haid stitchers who do that on ones that aren't gridded. So Stitching Mummy, for example, she does it and just seems to do it naturally, and all that counting and, you know, making barely any mistakes. I don't know how she does it. And even with that easy grid, I find myself coming across errors where I've miscounted and having to make that decision of, you know, do I just let it be, or do I pick it out? And, you know, half the time I do just let it be, because the colours, actually I'm quite lucky on this one that the colours do merge in well together. But yeah, I don't know how people do it when it's not gridded. It's hard enough with the grids, but, you know, fair dues to them. But this is my long dog sampler Pilgrim. There you go. Again, I've already expressed my love for this one in my last video, and this is the one I'm using, Mrs. Seydas Peacock, that just is not showing up. That it's such a pedestrian blue colour it's showing there, but it's actually a glorious shimmery colour, this, that looks lovely on the actual material. And I've done quite a bit on this one. I'll just show you the area in which I've worked on. And then, as I said, I'll insert a picture that'll show what it was like and what it is now. So, oops, there we go. I have, I'll just manipulate this a little bit. I completed the bird bath here, and then all of this below here, and the start of the wording there. It just stitches up so easily with that silk. It's so smooth, and this is a lovely pattern to follow. Not quite as mindless as the Amethyst one was, but there we go. But it's still such an enjoyable stitch. There you go. So I will insert here the comparison of what it was and what it is now. Okay, so next one, oops, move my camera there. That could have been, there we go. That could have been quite funny if that had gone flying. Next one is my Hawkrun Hollow. This is Halloween at Hawkrun. So there we go. I will get used to where I need to position things. I know it's still a little bit awkward, but I will get used to that. So So I'm working on the centre box at the moment. Just, nope, I'll keep that here. Sorry, crinkle crinkle, my apologies. So, here we go. I have finished off the cauldron and the witch, and again, because I just can't help myself, in the flames on the cauldron I have substituted the DMC colours. It's charted in MPI, but it gives you a DMC conversion. So what I have done is, for most of the colours in those flames, I've substituted it with as close as I could with the DMC Etoile. And again, although it's not really showing it up that great here, it does actually look lovely in real life, so to speak. So yeah, so that's what I've done on that one. I'm very happy with that. This is on 16 count oatmeal Ada. Right, next one is Kathy Barrack. Oh sorry, and I will now insert the picture so you can see the comparison on those two. Right, yeah, so next one is Kathy Barrack Autumn on Lazy Bear Mountain. So this I am doing, oops, sorry, a bit of glare there. This I'm doing on 40 count linen, vintage country mocha. So now I did, let me put this up here actually, I did a little bit more of the border. So what I decided I'm going to do is every time I do a new session on this, I'll do a little bit more of the border first and then move on to the main picture. So it's, you know, this border up here, it's a little bit fiddly, but it looks, you know, it's got a lovely effect to it. And there we go. So I have done more on the house and on the windows and on the roof. So that's what I worked on this time. So again, this is another one that's charted in MPI, but with DMC conversion. So what I've done is I've bought a few of the MPI. So the house I'm using MPI, and on the trees I'm using MPI. And I think this is just going to look lovely when it's finished. I just love Kathy Barrack stuff. So I plan on eventually getting a few more of the carriage house samplings and some more of her designs as well. But again, because I've got those two large ones on the go at the moment, I'm going to wait until I finish them before I do commit to starting any others. I do have another carriage house one in my stash, autumn at carriage house, but I'm not starting that for a while yet. Wait until I've got one of them finished first. Next one we've got is that I've worked on, I told you I'd worked on a lot, is Halloween Quaker. So this is Lila's studio. I know there's quite a few people working on this one at the moment, but it is such a lovely one. There we go. Oh, I've done it again. I keep forgetting to say I'll insert before and after, so to speak. So I'll insert for bear mounting now. And moving on to Halloween Quaker, this is where we are. If I forget to say it on any others, I'll just insert the pictures in anyway, so just assume the picture will always be inserted of the what it was like 2 weeks ago and what it's like now. Again, getting used to all of this. Here is Halloween Quaker. So let me pop that on here. Oopsie. There we go. So this is the one where I had screwed up the A in Halloween, and I had agonised for a while as to whether or not I should take it out and restart it or just accept it and move on. Well, ultimately I decided to pick it out and to redo it. I'd only done at that point the HALL, so it wasn't too bad. So I redid that, put that witch in, put the ravens in towards the bottom there, and yeah, I'm glad I did now. My eyes are not automatically now drawn towards that mistake every time I pull this out, so I'm very happy with that. Oh, one of my cats there wanting to come down and investigate what's going on. Yep, there you go. So again, I'll insert that picture in now. So, next piece, and the last one for my stitching, is ink circles. So this is Big Red Ship of Life, and this really is going to be a big red ship of life. Again, I'm working on this on 28 count platinum, and it's going to be a really big piece. So at the moment I'm just working on the border because I was waiting for some silk that I'd ordered from Silk for You to come in, and that has come in, so I'll show you that in a second. But this is what I've done so far on here. So I have worked my way along, and I've got probably about another 6 of those of this pattern to do to complete this across the top, and I'm going to complete this before I move on. And let me show you the thread that's come in now. Eek, sorry. Crinkle, crinkle. So this is PR034. There you go. And that is coming off pinker than it actually is. It is, let me see if I can get it to show up a little better. Yeah, that's a little bit better there. And as you can see, it matches really nicely with the thread that's in the pattern. So that I'm going to use for all of this, and the borders I'm going to stick with my DMC variation one, which is the red through black. So I'm happy with that. Okay, so that is all of the stitching that I have worked on. Let me just move that out of the way. I've got my cat here. Let me see if I can very quickly show you. There she is. She's still. Oh, and that is the wall and the end cabinet that I crashed into. There she goes. She's getting all comfy on her cat bed. I don't know if anybody has seen my anybody saw on my Instagram. I mentioned that I'd bought a cat bed for them for the sofa, and there's 2 of them enjoying it there. There we go. Hello again. There you go. You're settled there now. Yeah, so that was the cabinet where I took my fall the other day and crashed my head into it, so I had a nice little bruise on my forehead there for a few days as well. Now, I do have some other things that I've been working on, but this is knitting. So I made the mistake of mentioning to my, well, maybe not made a mistake, but I told my mum that I had got into knitting again. Well, I'd never been into it big time before, but I had done some knitting, and so I said to her, oh, I've restarted doing knitting as well as doing cross stitching. Actually, if you can just excuse me 1 second. Yes, the Diet Coke obsession continues. So my mum said, oh, well, I've got this pattern that I've been wanting to do. Would you mind knitting this for me? Yes, of course I'll do it for you, Mum. Not a problem. So it's and it's not even something that's simple and straightforward like a scarf or a cowl or something like that. It's an actual gilet, if you want them to be fancy, or a long waistcoat. This is in my little homemade bag that's the right side up at the back and upside down at the front, because that's the way I roll. Let's see if I can find the pattern. So this is a very old pattern, and it is very hard to understand sometimes. I don't even know if this is going to come out clearly. Not too bad. So she's wanting it like this one, but about a lot longer, so it comes below her knees. I've chosen a purple one for this, so it's not very exciting, but this is what's taking up a lot of my time at the moment. So that's the back panel. This is the back panel, very long, and I'm currently working on the, actually that colour is pretty much true to life, actually that's come up well. I'm currently working on the front left panel, so that's lots of fun. But it's actually been really good because it's using a lot of knits and purls and decreases and things like that, so it's actually been good to get me back into the practice of things, and you know, relearning how to frog things, you know, or how to pick up stitches that you've lost in the previous row and things like that. So it's been good practice for that, because what I do actually want to get started on in the next week or so is a cowl that I know quite a few people have done. It's the, where did I pop my iPad? Oh, there it is. It's the, oh, I can never remember the proper name for it. Bear with me 1 second. Let me open it up on here. Excusez-moi. Land of Sweets cowl. So this is by Helen Stewart. I know Michelle Bendy Stitchy and Erin 2 Martini Stitches have done this. So I bought the pattern and it's quite straightforward, so I figured that would be a good one for me. I have done a cowl before. This is a really straightforward one. It's just 2 knit, 2 purl, but it's with double knitting, so it's not just with DK wool. You also have 2 strands that you use to merge into one, and I just love these colours and I love the wool. So what I've decided to do is so you need 24, there's 24 different rows in that Land of Sweets cowl. So I've decided to use 6 different colours of wool and then alternate between them in a specific pattern. So have the wool here. Now this wool, it's vivacious Fyberspates, the 4-ply. and it's all the purpley to red tones. So we start off with grape, and then we move to, oh, I'm missing one. Excellent. I'm missing one. Well, we've got grape, we have spiced plum, so grape, spiced plum, we've got plump imps, we've got crocus, and we've got mixed magentas. So as I said, there is another one somewhere which I must have forgotten to bring downstairs, but what I will do is I will take a picture of the 6 of them laid out together so you can see them all properly, and I'll insert that in here. So my plan is to get started on that. Oh no, sorry. Oh no, that's not it. I thought I had it then, but I've not. So my plan is to get started on that soon, but I want to break the back of my mum's thing first of all. So when I see her tomorrow, I'm going to do some measurements on her to make sure everything fits, because I have this horrible suspicion that the front panel isn't wide enough. So I may have to do some picking up stitches along the end of that to make it a bit wider, but that'll be a whole new nightmare if I do have to do that, so hopefully it'll fit. But yeah, so that's the knitting that I'm planning on doing. But what I do also have to show you is my haul that came in. So I had mentioned 2 weeks ago that I'd put an order in with 123 Stitch, and that has come in. So let me show you. Oh, and then there is one other thing I want to cover as well. Just pull this up. So I bought some patterns first of all. So the first one I'd got was a Blackburn Designs Midnight Watch. There you go. I'd seen a few people who had done this and I really love this pattern, so that will be going into my stash. Then, and Blackbird Designs again, this time Halloween Eve. There we go. Now I got 2 Cricut collections, of course, my favourite designer, Vicky Hastings. So the first one is Autumn, my favourite season. There we go, I just think they're absolutely gorgeous. And then the last one is Skeleton Crew. There we go. Now I do have another Cricut collection one in my stash, so these will join this. I don't plan on getting any more for a while. As I said, this was my one big order, but this is the other one I have in my stash, which is Sleepy Hollow. There you go. I think that's a lovely one. That I can't wait to get started on that one. So they're my Cricut collection ones. I also got some fabric. Now I bought, it's actually one of the first patterns that I bought. It's a Lindy Stitches one. It is Dracula's Confession. I'm wanting to do the vertical one. There you go. Now this is stitched on Murky, and for ages I was trying to find an alternative for it, but I couldn't decide on one to do, and I was really struggling on finding fabric for it. And then when I was on 123 Stitch looking for these patterns, and primarily looking for the pattern for my mum, I mentioned in my first video that I'm going to be doing Garden Gate by the Drawn Thread, which will be here shortly. It didn't come with this order from 123 Stitch because they didn't have any in, but they have actually now posted that, so I should be able to get started on that hopefully within the next week or so. But while I was on 123 Stitch, I just happened to check to see if they had any of the murky fabric in, and they did. So I have bought some. Here we go. So I now plan in the next couple of weeks on adding to my whip list. Well, when I finish another, sorry, one second. When I finish another of my whips, I will add in Dracula's Confession, because I've wanted to do this for ages. I've got it fully kitted up. I've got a combination of DMC and Weeks dye work, so I have all the threads required for it. I was just waiting to get the right fabric. So now I've got that, I can get started. I also got the from 123 Stitch. I did mention that I wanted to get all the called for threads for Garden Gate. So these came in. So they're a combination of dinky dyes. Here we go. Oops. Oh. I did say I was clumsy. A combination of these lovely dinky dyes. So we've got dark chocolate, Matilda, seagrass, stringy bark, dusty rose, cherry wood, and this is a lovely green, this one. This is Dandenong. No idea what that says. I don't know if you can, there we go, and that one. So there's those dinky dyes. Oh, it feels so soft. And then we have the, whoopsie, I don't want to lose any of them. I'll never see them again if one of the cats gets hold of them. And then we have these NPI silks. Sorry, there we go. So that's the sea green range, meadow grass. I do not know how, well, I think that's wrong for starters, because that says meadow green range, and that to me is not meadow green range. We've got pansy purple, white obviously, a dapple grey, glacier range, and another one in the glacier range, and we've got another one in the dapple grey range. So those are the threads for my mum's piece when it comes in for the Garden Gate. I also, now I've seen a couple of Flosstubers use these for holding their floss rings, and I've just been trying to find out what they were called for ages. So they're these little flexible things with little screw-on tops there. So instead of using rings, the metal rings, just pop them on here. So I bought a packet of these from Amazon. They are, if you can, if that will, there we go. So I'd never even thought of looking under keychain. There we go, is that going to, there you go. But then the lovely Rachel Ray on her the list she has on every one of her videos that shows all her whips and any material she's using or any accessories she used. She actually had these listed, so I was like, finally. And then yeah, popped onto Amazon and there we were. They were about £7 and you get a pack of 20 and they're brilliant. So I don't need to use floss rings anymore, so that's ideal. And then because I couldn't resist, I got some Needleminders, because as with everybody else who starts buying Needleminders, I have quickly become obsessed with them. I'll probably show at some point the ones I've got, but I've not got as many as a lot of people do, but I have bought quite a few. So Silks for You actually sent a lovely one with the silk that I got, and that's this one. That's the lovely one. I think that's like a mandala, isn't it? Well, that's a beautiful one. A good strong magnet on that. And then from Cotton and Clay, who are new on Etsy, and there's a couple of lovely ones on there. I bought this one. That's gold flecks on there, and again that's put the card up for that. So they're covered up the Etsy store. They're Cotton and Clay UK on Etsy. Really like that one. Again, that's a good strong magnet, and they've got some sorry, it's trying to focus on me there. They've got some gorgeous ones that they're releasing practically daily on their Etsy store. And then from Denkai Designs, let me take them off the card. There we go. I got a Klimt one. Let me just, what's the best way to do this? Here we go. There is a Klimt one. The Tree of Life there. Haha, I love this one. This is an octopus one. Oops, magnets everywhere here. I've got a, let me stick this on, actually you won't be able to see it. There we go. Bitchcraft. And then, I think this is one of my favourite ones. I wonder why. There we go. You can get this in large or small, but I just love the detail on it, so I got the large one for that. Again, these are all from the same place. That's that one. So those are the Needleminders I got. Yeah, I think that's pretty much it for haul. I doubt, other than when that pattern comes in for my mum's, there's only really one other purchase that I'm waiting for. Now, this was something that I had mentioned again in my other video about my All Souls. Let me just find it. Excuse me. Here we go. My All Souls Veerlanden. I'd mentioned how I was a bit disappointed in how this had turned out. I had tried to dye the fabric myself. I wanted a nice deep murky purple to go with my Mrs. Sadah's peacock, and I was just very unhappy with how it looked. It wasn't popping enough for me. I did get one suggestion on a fabric to use, and I have actually looked up on that and found somewhere that does actually stock it in the UK. It's Copper Kettle, I think it was. I'm sorry, it's on my phone and I'm using my phone to record, so I can't check, so I do apologise. But I love that anyway, so I think I'm going to buy that fabric at some point anyway. But at the moment I have actually purchased a fabric that I think might work out. It's Chromatic Alchemy, and it's Sea Witch, I think it's called. I bet you I've forgotten to put a picture on here, so if you just give me 2 seconds, I'll bring that up. If I can't find it, I will insert a picture, but I might be able to bring it up if I can spell. Ah, here we go. Let's see if I can just focus in on, there we go, it's that one in the corner there, the purple and black there. So I have ordered some of that. It is, however, going to take, you know, as is usually the way, because it's got to be, I'm assuming that they have to dye it and whatnot. I've ordered that last week, so hopefully within the next month that should come, and I'll have a look to see if it performs better than the one that I have actually done here, so that'll be a restart. So plans, I doubt I'll have that fabric, I mean, I hope in 2 weeks time to do another video, so I doubt I'll have that fabric to have restarted by then, but hopefully I will have been able to make a start on the Garden Gate one by Linen and Threads. I'm not really planning on doing a mania. I'm just going to look to carry on using my Tiny Decisions wheel. I've got all my whips in there now. I make a note, I don't think I've got it here yet, I make a note on my tracker each day as to what I've stitched on, so I can keep track of what to show, but literally it's a case of put all my whips in the Tiny Decision wheel, hit the button, and that tells me what I'm going to work on next. So what it has told me I am going to be working on next is my October pie cricket collection, funnily enough. So I'm hopeful that I'll get another letter done on there, carry on knitting on my mum's waistcoat, and to start on that Sweets and Cowl, that Land of Sweets, whatever it's called. Hopefully not break my neck in the next 2 weeks. However, with this being me, that could happen. Generally I do have some kind of accident every couple of months, and hopefully that little trip the other day is this month's accident. But other than that, I'm really hoping to get back into work, so that will probably reduce the time in which I will have to sew to just evenings, as opposed to, well, not all day long, but you know, having a couple of hours during the day as well as in the evening. But you know, I hope that I do still have a good amount of progress that I'll be able to show in 2 weeks time, because I do think these videos are going to be every 2 weeks, because especially when I am back at work, I doubt there'd be enough progress on a weekly basis to show anything interesting. But yeah, what I'll do then is I will leave it at that now. I will just reiterate again how lovely it's been reading all the comments that were left, and you know, seeing everybody who has subscribed. I did not expect over 50 people to have subscribed, so that's been lovely. I've tried not to obsessively watch that count because that's not important. This was just an exercise to be able to show the work I've done, and hopefully to be able to track my progression with both sewing and knitting, and to be able to share my enjoyment of it with you. So I will, as I said, insert those pictures to track progression. I will also have a list at the end of all my whips. I'll keep it with all my whips, so you'll be able to see all the ones that I do have that I'm working on at the moment. And I just really hope that everybody is keeping safe and well wherever you are in the world, because I know I've had comment from somebody that's been in Australia, in New Zealand, so that blew my mind. But yeah, just hope you're all keeping safe and well and doing everything that you need to do that. And I will hopefully see you in 2 weeks. So I'll see you then. Thank you.